Yo, what's going on? This is Mike, and I am the Sports Dope. You can find me on Twitter at @ThatSportsDope. I'm on Instagram with the same name. If you go to mindsofmike.com/thesportsdope, there's a bunch of social media icons up there. So if you happen to come across this on YouTube, you could find the iTunes link so you can take it on the go because nobody's paying for that extra YouTube shit. So yeah, that's pretty much where you could find me. So just to let you know, once again, I am just your friendly neighborhood degenerate, just the guy who can't stop talking about this shit. And since everybody's sick of listening to me, I'm just going to yell at a microphone. And that's it. And so I'll just pretend there's people listening to me because I can't prove otherwise. Anyway, we're here to talk about Week 9 NFL Daily Fantasy Picks. Last week's picks, they were on the cusp of being decent, but not cashing in any place. But, it came in like 40,000th in the Millionaire Maker out of like the 200K or whatever it is. So not bad, like around the top 5th, but not enough to cash anything. So that means who the fuck cares, right? Just lost money. Yeah, just missed out by like 1,000 people. But whatever. This week, we're still on a mission to crack the top 1,000. That's not a huge payout. It's like $150 or something. But still, it's just steps, right? It's overall steps. Steps to get from where you are to where you're going. You have goals in between, right? You're not going to go from, 44,000 to 10. You can go from 44,000 to 1,000, then to 10. Steps. Levels to this shit. So let's go through real quick recap last week, Week 8. This was the lineup I said that included all the games starting on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Sorry if you heard my dog bark. If you didn't, then you kind of missed out. The dog's fucking awesome. So we started out with the stack of Jameis Winston and Mike Evans. Man, that was a good fucking stack. That shit worked out pretty fucking nice. Jameis Winston had a solid day despite 2 fumbles, 26 points. Mike Evans dominated, almost 200 yards, 198 to be exact, 11 catches, 2 touchdowns, 45 points. Jameis ended the day with 26, giving us a total of 71 and change for our stack. Solid. Can't beat that, really. I mean, you can. You could always get more points, but, you know what I mean. Can't beat that. Solid. Next up, we had Chris Carson in the running back position. He got us 15 points. Nothing too crazy. Just a touchdown, 90 yards for the day. Next, we had a cheap option, Jamal Williams. Solid day. 1 touchdown, in the air, 1 on the ground, 14 yards through the air, a couple rushing yards. The touchdowns really saved it, but hey, yeah, that nice catch in the back of the end zone where everybody's like, oh my God, how did fucking Aaron Rodgers see him in the back of the end zone? Well, he didn't. He fucking chucked it up there towards the back corner, and he happened to be running across and catching it. Obviously, he's not going to say that. Next up, we had John Brown in the Buffalo game. I thought they'd at least take it to the air a little bit and be somewhat successful, given how terrible Philly's secondary has been. But that wasn't the case. Didn't happen for us. He only had 50 yards through the air on 5 catches for a whopping 10 points and change. We already talked about Mike Evans. Tyreek Hill, decent day. Didn't get in the end zone. I figured they would get a lot of short passes. I thought he was going to have a lot of catches, like 10 or 11. Thought it was going to get that crazy for him. Just dump it to Tyreek and let him fucking run around people. Didn't get that crazy. Only 6 catches, 75 yards, 5 rushing yards, whopping 14 points. Nothing too great for what you're paying for him. Looks like that TJ Hawkinson era of taking the Hawk is just about done. I don't know if it's done, actually. Because Stafford's been pretty much picking one guy to be, the main target each week. And for the last couple of weeks, that's been pretty much the MO over there. Maybe Hawkinson's time is coming. I'm not taking him this week, but could be. Not going to stick a fork in him just yet. And we'll talk more about Stafford in a minute. So Hawkinson, not much. 1 catch, 21 yards, 3 point. Terrible. Carlos Hyde in the flex spot, only 83 rushing yards for, you guessed it, 8.3 points. So nothing really going on there. I thought Houston was going to beat him up a little bit at home. I was actually kind of surprised at how close it was. A lot of people think Oakland's a good team. I'm not one of them. Nah, I don't buy it yet. So I don't even buy that they're mediocre yet. Like, they still got to be better than what they have been to get to mediocre status in my eyes. For the defense, we had the Rams. Thought it was going to be even more of a dominant performance than it was. Only 9 points from them. No real turnovers, couple sacks. And that was it. That brought us to a whopping total of 150 points. Did not cash with my buddies out there. Next up, the lineup for the Millionaire Maker. We went to Detroit for the stack. Matthew Stafford and Kenny Galladay. Seemed to be a pretty popular stack. Stafford was taken at 17% of leads. Galladay in about 24%. Stafford brought in 27 points. Galladay 32. About 60 points. 60 point for the stack. Not terrible. Not bad at all. Le'Veon Bell. That was a tough one. I guess we talked last week about how I thought Sam Darnold, that was right around when the video started chopping up, which kind of annoying. Sorry about that. So we talked about how Sam Darnold had like the worst game of his young career yet. So what do you do the game after that? You lean on the running back that you paid fucking all that money to. And they didn't do that at all. They threw Sammy back out to the Wolves. Le'Veon really didn't have much going on. Just, 23 rushing yards, couple catches. Gross. Latavius Murray, complete opposite day. He had a couple touchdowns, bunch of yards through the air, 9 catches, 100 yards rushing, almost 40 points, 39.7. That was fucking phenomenal right there. A.J. Brown caught a touchdown catch, didn't do much else, so he only came in at 9. Kenny Galladay, we talked about. DeAndre Hopkins, another solid day, just shy of 25. Hunter Henry, not really what you're looking for. Not really too thrilled with that performance there. 47 yards, 4 catches. In the flex spot, Cortland Sutton. Solid game. Probably the last time we're going to look towards him, unless this backup who's playing for Flacco looks any good. He's never played a game before. Talked about it in the Picks podcast. I don't have too much faith in that. Can't take a wide receiver, especially one with a pretty decent price tag with a quarterback that has never thrown an NFL pass before. And lastly, the defense, the Panthers, did not do much. In fact, nobody from Carolina did anything on their trip to San Francisco except lay down and let Tevin Coleman run over their dicks. So that was fucking terrible. All right, so that's it. Last week, right on the cusp. 150 points is a pretty solid show, but you've got to be north of 200. You got to be in the 200 range if you want to get paid. You want to get paid decent, you got to be in the 200 range. Not even decent. Like, wow, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, if you want to get paid anything, yeah, you got to be up there. Top 500s. But look, baby steps, right? Top 1,000. That's our goal. That's what we're doing here. Let's dive right into the friendly lineup of the week, the one that starts at 1 o'clock on Sunday and continues through Monday night. I like playing those sometimes because it keeps the night games interesting, right? And it keeps the... your league alive or your daily fantasy day going. So it makes it not just a daily fantasy, it's a multiple day fantasy. So I'm just living in fantasy world for a whole extra group of hours because, you played this one that has the Monday night game in it. Yo, what's going on? You might notice a weird edit right here. If you're watching it, no, I am not drinking that bottle of water anymore. Basically, I took a sip of water. My brain paused for a second, took a second to reset, went to write something down. My pencil lead wasn't out in my mechanical pencil, and I just paused and stopped talking, and my brain stopped working. So I just stopped both of the recordings, gonna splice it back together. I learned when I was in the Navy that if you run into a situation that you're unexpected. When I crashed the submarine, they were like, yo, you should have just stopped instead of kept going into shit you weren't sure of. So I just stopped. And started over again. So we were about to talk about the lineups for this week. We're going to start off with the Friends lineup. And we're starting off in Seattle. Tampa Bay going to Seattle. Look, Tampa Bay, they can stop the run. I think they're going to stop Chris Carson. And what's that going to do? That's going to leave the ball in Russell Wilson's hands. He didn't have a great week last week. I'm expecting him to rebound. And for $7,100 against a terrible defense, I fucking love it. And you know me, I also love my stacks. Right, so I'm going with DK Metcalf in the stack. Hey, I think both of the receivers are going to eat. I think Tyler Lockett's probably going to have a little bit better of a day, but DK Metcalf is the cheaper option, and I had a couple of big price tags I was kind of playing with over here. Right, I was trying to get some big dogs out here. Running backs. Starting off, decent-sized dog Actually, large dog, but medium production dog in terms of production size, right? You don't get as much production. He's the biggest, but you get moderate production from him. You get better production from smaller dogs. You know what the fuck I'm saying. Derrick Henry, Tennessee, going to Carolina. You can run on these Panthers. He's averaging about 15 points a week. I think if he gets in the end zone twice, which is definitely possible, he'll be definitely worth that $5,700 price tag. Next up, listen, this guy is do it all, catching passes, running the ball. Aaron Jones, he's going to the Chargers. Chargers very susceptible to the run. They can rush the pass, hard time stopping the run. And even if they can stop the run, who cares? Aaron Jones is going to go line up in the slot or some shit and run past the linebacker because the defensive coordinator is too dumb to realize, hey, guess what? Maybe this guy's going to run out for the pass, and a cornerback is a little bit better suited for this guy. You can't have that guy run out of the backfield and have a fucking 260-pound linebacker on him. That shit is not going to work, and Aaron Rodgers is going to hit him every time. I don't know if Anthony Lynn is smart enough to tell his guy to look for that. Hopefully that guy, the defensive coordinator, I don't even know who the shit it is, hopefully that guy is smart enough to realize it himself after watching that game tape. Next up, but yeah, Aaron Jones, $7,000. I'll take that for sure. Next up, we got, listen, I'm going Mohamed Sanu. I think the Patriots are going to put up points on this defense. I definitely think they will. I know Tom Brady likes to get new guys involved. It was a little tough last week. Got him involved a little bit. I definitely think he gets him in the end zone this week, though, because I think there's going to be quite a few Patriots going in the end zone this week. I don't think that Baltimore defense is all typed up to be, and I think that the Patriots defense is going to stop that weird rushing attack pretty easily. Next up, we're going down to Miami. Look, this game, I didn't pick it in the picks podcast that I did the other day, but I'm adding it and I'm going to tweet it out. I like this game going over. The Jets in Miami, and I think Robbie Anderson's going to be a big part of that. I see deep bombs going to him. $5,500. I like this a lot. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to play a good game too. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And yeah, $5,500. I think Robbie Anderson has some 2 touchdown and a lot of yards potential there this week. The Jets offense, look, there's been a lot of shit going on in the news this week. A lot of people talking about how that's a downer. And then everybody talks shit that week when something like this happens. And then what does that team typically do? They go out and they smoke somebody. And they are going to a place that's got fucking the best smoking available. That place is a smoking section. Right, because people go down there and they smoke Miami. Now, that being said, I think Fitzpatrick has got this team believing in something. I don't know what the fuck it is, though, because they still haven't won a game yet. But he's got them believing a little bit, at least in the first quarter or two. I think against the Jets, he could at least keep it to the first half, because as much as the defense believes, it's still not going to be able to stop. You can believe, but you still might not be able to stop anybody. So I like this game going over the 42. In fact, I like it a lot. And Robbie Anderson, like I said, $5,500. Give me that guy in my lineup. We already talked about DK Metcalf. Tight end spot. I just talked about him. TJ Hawkinson. Look, I was ready to stick a fork in him for a second when I looked at that line, but then I remembered Stafford is a rotational guy. He's going down the line. He's going Marvin Jones, Kenny Golladay, and now he's going Hawk. I don't know if there's an alphabet bet in there, joke in there or something. I can't think of it right now. Jones, Golladay, Hawkinson. The eye's in the way. Otherwise, they would have an alphabet little trio, an alphabet line. But either way, he's in the middle. He's the sandwich. He put the bread out. Got the bread out first with Jones, and he got the bread out with Golladay. But now Hawkinson's in the middle. You got to put the meat in the sandwich. He's going to score big. I like it against Oakland. $3,700. Plus, going a little cheaper there, that allowed me to put Ezekiel Elliott. Remember, Monday night, keep that shit interesting. Live the fantasy. Live the dream. Keep it going. Ezekiel Elliott in my flex spot. Yo, again, I've done this before. I've mentioned this several times during this podcast and video shit or whatever you want to call it. I like to hedge my feelings. If Ezekiel Elliott has a good game, that means the Cowboys win. I am a fan of the Giants. As much as I hate the Giants right now, it's a love-hate relationship. It's a fucking abusive relationship. As much as I hate them right now, I still want to see them do well against the Cowboys. I want them to lose a lot of other games so that they fire everybody and get new people in there and get better draft picks. But for the time being, I still want them to beat the Cowboys. So if Ezekiel Elliott does poorly, that means Giants win. So it's a little hedge on the feelings, a little bit on the fact that I don't think that the Giants are going to be able to stop them. They do have a pretty beefed up line, especially now that they got Leonard Williams out there. But I think Zeke's going to find a way to put up at least 100 yards. Combined, could be through the air, but I think he's going to get in the end zone also. So I think 2 touchdowns, 100 yards or so. Definitely in Zeke's future this week. Lastly, defense. Look, this is a weird one. And I was pretty much out of money. And to be honest, I planned on being out of money, so I picked the defense kind of early on. And I looked at a defense that I thought has the potential to maybe kick a team when they're down. And against an offense that really still not super impressive. So give me the Washington Redskins going to Buffalo, $1,800. I don't even know who the Washington Redskins quarterback is going to be. They were looking decent there for a minute the other night. But then Haskins came in, and that was just all over with. But the defense was decent, right? I don't know if it was Minnesota not putting their foot on the gas, but they were holding them down. And look, if they could do that to, Kirk Cousins, when Kirk Cousins, like the one game he wants to fucking throw bombs and just, smoke it, he couldn't. Because the Redskins defense was amped. And I think they can get themselves amped up and go up to Buffalo. Like I said, Buffalo just lost. They're a little bit down. Maybe a little fraudulent. Maybe the whispers creeping in. Maybe the thoughts are getting to Josh Allen. And he doesn't have a great game. Yeah, and the Redskins D comes through. $1,800, give me the Redskins D. All right, here we go. Final lineup of the week. Week 9, Millionaire Maker. And what I've always said, what I started out saying, is you got to get a little bit weird. And the big money people that you pick have to come through. And actually, all your people have to fucking come through if you want to get super high. But you got to get a little bit weird, too, and you got to hit on your weird shit. And I just mentioned I thought that this game was going to go over. I thought that the defenses are criminally bad. And I was talking about the Jets in the Miami game. Give me Ryan Fitzpatrick and Devontae Parker. So my stack is less than what I'm paying for my running back. $4,400, $4,800. My stack is $9,200. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Devontae Parker is number one target, throwing the ball to him all the time, a lot. The Jets defense, secondary is definitely the biggest problem. Jamal Adams is great, but he's, more of a run support type of guy, and he's only one man. He can't be everywhere. And the corners are terrible. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Devontae Parker, I could see that connection happening a couple times during this game. They're at home. They want to win. They want to put on a show for their fans, show them that it's worth it to actually come to Miami to see a game. So there we go. Fitzpatrick, $4,800. Devontae Parker, $4,400. Like I said, that stack was actually cheaper than this guy. And the reason that he's so expensive is because he's going to have a monster game. Everybody knows it. Dalvin Cook at Kansas City. Kansas City of the terrible, terrible defense. And Minnesota of the team. When they get up, all they do is run the ball. So Dalvin Cook should get a lot of carries, a lot of pass catches also, because you can beat KC that way. $9,500. I'm paying all the money because I want all the points. Second up, we're going with Nick Chubb. Look, I think they're going to have a lot of running going on. There's going to be a lot of running going on the Cleveland side of the ball this week. Baker Mayfield just stays out there talking shit. And the reason he's talking shit is because he's playing bad. Everybody wants him to start talking shit in the organization. So what do? You take the ball out of his hands so he doesn't play like shit. You give it to Nick Chubb. And then let the story be about how they beat the shit out of the Broncos with some no-name quarterback and a team that's given up in a mile-high city. Give me Nick Chubb, $7,300. Broncos lose this game. Browns win it. And Nick Chubb is a big part of it. Give me Nick Chubb running the clock out for a quarter and a half at the end of that game. We talked last lineup about how both of those Seahawk receivers are going to fucking go out there and they're going to feast on the fish in the Puget Sound all day against that Tampa Bay secondary. And Tyler Lockett is going to be the one out there catching passes, sneaking through all those fucking defenders, cutting through his zone, catching it, running to the house. Give me Tyler Lockett, $7,500. I think he's going to have a huge game. Huge game. That game has the potential to be a shootout. Huge time. Big time shootout. Two teams that just... Tampa Bay can't run the ball, so all they're going to do is pass it. And the only thing Tampa Bay does really well is stop the run, so Seattle won't be able to run it. So unless Pete Carroll and his stupid offensive coordinator just decide to keep running the ball into that brick wall, then, they're just going to be passing all day, and it should be a glorious thing to watch. If you like that kind of thing. Next up. So, we spent a lot of money already so far. Let's get a little cheap wide receiver. This guy catching a lot of balls in Detroit. So, Danny Amendola, poor man's Julian Edelman, out there. Stafford's little safety security blanket for when Marvin Jones is double covered or Galladay's double covered, or they just need like 4 to 7 yards, and he's just gonna run over the middle and grab that shit for him. But he's catching a ton of balls every week. You gotta reward him a little bit, right? And I think this is the week that you give him a touchdown. So let me get Danny Amendola, $4,700. We already talked about Devontae Parker. He was $4,400. Yo, there is a tight end controversy in Philly. Zach Ertz playing like shit. Dallas Goedert just snagging touchdown passes. Chicago, they're pretty tough to run on. Check to see if Akeem Hicks is playing or not. If he is, then it's going to be even tougher to run on him. Guess what? They're kind of tough to pass on. The corners are actually very good. One area that they have a little bit of difficulty defending the tight end. Zach Ertz is out of it, but he's more expensive than Dallas Goedert. Give me Dallas Goedert, $3,100. Now we're in the flex spot. I'm going with Josh Jacobs. Detroit's coming to town, and John Gruden needs a win. When you need a win, you go to Josh Jacobs. You don't go to Derek Carr. You go to Josh Jacobs, and that's what Gruden's going to do. He's going to try to do it anyway. I bet on Detroit. I think Detroit gets up big, and they have to abandon the run, but they're going to run with Josh Jacobs early. They're going to get it some in the end zone. I think he probably has like 100 yards and a touchdown by like the middle of the third quarter, something like that. And then they just have to give it to Derek Carr, and Derek Carr falls apart. Detroit wins outright. Who needs the +2? All right, let's go. Last one, defense. Defense here. We're going with, you might call me crazy. In fact, you're probably going to think I'm crazy. But again, a lot of this stuff is based on what I think these games are going to do and how they're going to go. And when I just say this out loud, you're going to be like, you're a fucking moron, Mike. That's why you are the sports dope. You're a fucking dope. And you're taking the Chargers with Green Bay coming to town because Green Bay is a phenomenal offense. Look, I think Green Bay is just been winning too much. I think the Chargers have been losing too much, and they have too much talent to be losing so much and losing the way that they've been losing. They finally won a game. This is like the turning around of the ship. Anthony Lynn is still a terrible coach. Green Bay is just fired up, like not fired up in a good way, but just like, remember I said before smelling their own farts? I said that on the Picks podcast. Green Bay smelling their own farts. They think they're fucking hotter shit than they actually are. Look, I think they go to Charger. I think they go to LA, play the Chargers, and I think they're susceptible. And I think the Chargers defense would be a big part of that if that came to fruition. So again, this is the Millionaire Maker, right? We're going for some crazy fucking plays out here. Taking some long shots, hoping the long shots hit, and then get the fucking big money guys right. So let's run through it one more time for the people. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Tyler Lockett, Danny Amendola, Devontae Parker, Dallas Goedert, Josh Jacobs, and the Chargers D are the Millionaire Maker members of my lineup. I didn't mean to do that there. I think it's alliteration. I'm not 100% sure. And for the other lineup we gave out, we went with Russell Wilson, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Robbie Anderson, DK Metcalf, TJ Hawkinson, Zeke, and the Redskins defense. Yo, thank you again for checking this out. My name is Mike. I'm the Sports Dope. You can find me on Twitter at ThatSportsDope, Instagram, the same name. Go to mindsofmike.com/thesportsdope, and you can find all the social media icons there. There's a bunch of fucking posts. The posts are really just this content that comes out of my mouth into a microphone and then onto the website somehow. It's magic. Really is. Thanks for checking it out. Peace. Good luck.